women's empowerment. This is the topic that God has put on my heart for about a year now, to really dig in and talk about women's empowerment and why it's important for women to be aware of this concept, women's empowerment, and what does it mean, right? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for me? And why is it important, right? And so I want to encourage you to get a pen and paper out and really just write out women's empowerment. What does it mean to me and why is it important? Well, when I think back on it at this stage of my life, I'm 56 now, and I think back, when was I representing myself as an empowered woman and when was I not? And I will say for the most of my life, I was not representing myself as an empowered woman. I wasn't thinking, feeling, or behaving as an empowered woman, right? Because I grew up in foster care. And because I grew up in foster care, I didn't have anyone developing me as a woman or as an empowered girl, right? So this is important for girls just as much as it is for women. Because when we can teach our girls to be empowered, to speak empowered, to behave empowered, to have body posture that's empowered, to reflect empowerment in their decision making, they're more likely to grow up and be empowered women. Right? So don't confuse power with force. Now, a lot of girls grow up and they're very forceful, right? They operate from a masculine energy. And a lot of that is just survival energy, right? Survival techniques, survival identity, survival energy. And there's so many girls and women in the world that are just trying to survive. And I want to offer an alternative perspective, which is to feel empowered so that you can get out of the lane of surviving and masculine energy and start operating more from a spiritual identity, right? Which is fundamental. If you're going to be an empowered woman, you have to understand your spiritual identity, right? We are spiritual beings and we're also human beings. You have to understand both so that you can operate from both of those identities at the proper time and make the proper decisions, right? Based on those identities. And not only that, but you also want to start self-reflecting on, do I respect myself? And what does that mean? Right? If a woman or girl doesn't respect herself, it's nearly impossible to be an empowered woman because they're two different paths in life. Right? So think about these things today and think about how you can teach your children or you can reflect to yourself and to the world that you are more empowered by respecting yourself more and by understanding your spiritual identity.